This is the PA Startup Podcast, episode number 2. This is the PA Startup Podcast, where we help pre-PA students, current PA students, and new grads start their careers as physician assistants. I'm your host, Chris Darst. We are glad you're here. Hey guys, how are you? Welcome back to the PA Startup Podcast, and it's our first interview episode, which is kind of cool. I hope you enjoy it today. We've got a great topic. We are talking about going from good to great. Now that seems odd, right? Because you are possibly just applying to school or even considering the profession, or maybe you're in school, or maybe you're a new grad. Like, easy, partner. Well, let's get through this first before we talk about going from good to great. But honestly, this is a mindset. This is a mindset that you need to be in to excel, to not just arrive, but to overshoot your arrival, basically, to become exceptional. And whether you're applying or you're in school or you're a new grad, that is the mindset that you need. I tell people pretty much in any specialty, but specifically the acute care settings like emergency medicine or surgery or trauma, it's not enough to know the job. You have to go past knowing the job and know how to get out of trouble. Whether you're running a code or you are, in my world, we're crashing on the bypass machine, or you're emergently rushing off to surgery, or whatever it might be. You got to know not just, okay, I got to put orders in the computer and this is how we do the surgery, or this is how we do the procedure, or this is how we consult a different specialty, but you have to go past that. So it's a mindset, and it's a mindset I really want you to get into, because you can be average, and that's great. We need people to be average, but I know you can be exceptional. So that's what this episode's about. It has a bit of a surgical flair to it because my boss is a surgeon, and that's kind of his world, but the lessons apply across the board. So look for things that apply to where you're at currently, whether you're a student or a new grad or you're out in the workforce. But I hope you like it. So my guest today, he went to medical school at Columbia University. He did his general surgery residency at Duke and his cardiothoracic fellowship at UVA, University of Virginia. He just got his MBA, his Master's of Business Administration, in the past year, and is on the adjunct faculty at a university here in town. And he is a co-founder of a tech company called Together+Clinic at togetherclinic.com. It started out, interestingly, as it started out as a way to reduce readmissions to the hospital following surgery, but actually, he is also the founder of a tech company, a tech startup called Together+Clinic, and if you want to check it out, togetherclinic.com. It started as a way to reduce readmissions after heart surgery or heart failure, and it kind of morphed into chronic care management, which is a hot button topic lately. So check him out; it's pretty cool. But so he's got his hand in a couple different pots here. But one thing is universal across all of it. He's always pushing for people to go from good to great. So that's why I asked him to be on today. Hope you enjoy it. So this is my interview today with Richard Thompson, MD, MBA, and co-founder, et cetera, et cetera. But hope you enjoy it. I'll check in with you afterwards to see if we can fill in any gaps. Hey, Rick.
Hey, thanks for having me.
How's it going?
Well, I'm really, really excited to be here on your inaugural episode.
Yeah, this is pretty exciting. First guest.
Oh,
so first
right.
guest.
First
but
guest.
It's an important place to be. So before we get started, I want to ask you, what is your favorite phone app?
Oh, wow.
What app do you use the most?
I'd have to say CNN.com. I'm a news junkie. I'm kind of a political pundit, and I love watching the news. I get up in the morning, watch CNN there, and then I follow it all day.
Wow, very good. And you are the reason I don't watch the news, because you tell me everything I need to know. So
Exactly.
Very good. Well, today we want to talk briefly about what makes a PA great. I mean, we all want to be good, but what takes PAs from good to great? And I thought that Rick had a good background for this that could help us understand this. So, Rick, let's jump right into it. Tell me what interactions you've had with PAs to start with.
Yeah, well, I've been fortunate enough to work with dozens of incredible PAs throughout the years. And in all of my jobs, I've been able to see PAs grow from the starting stage to just becoming true experts in their profession. And it's been an honor and a privilege to see them do that. And I do think that I can share some insight on what really allows that transition to take place.
Okay, cool. So did you have PAs with the whole like every stage of training?
I'm proud to say that at every stage of training, I operated with PAs. I trained with PAs in cardiac surgery at the University of Virginia. They were an integral part of the program there. Even in an academic setting, the attending surgeon would leave shortly after his part was done, and the rest of the operation was done just like it is today in my practice with a PA. And then in my private practice in Pennsylvania, we had endoscopic vein harvest and PAs as well. And then for the last 6 years here.
Sweet. Sounds good. Tell me, what do you think makes a PA specifically valuable over other types of medical professionals?
Yeah, I think that, understanding how integral a PA is to the part of the team and that how important they are to patient outcomes is what separates a PA from a nurse or nurse practitioner. It's a sine qua non in my case. I could not do my job without a PA. And I don't want to do my job without a PA, quite frankly. I think that they're really a pleasure to work with, every one of them. I can't remember a bad one over the years.
Well,
you did remind me of one. Sorry.
There's always one.
Yeah,
there's always
exactly.
one out there. Well, very good. Yeah, I think it seems to be that there's a lot of, within surgical specialties, it tends to be PA heavy versus, say, family practice or things like that. Is that true in your experience?
Yeah, I would say that that's definitely true. I think that in the surgical subspecialties, PAs have a unique position. In cardiothoracic surgery, obviously, they get to do their own procedure. But even in the other surgical subspecialties, they're an integral part of assisting in complex surgeries. Most surgical practices have too much volume to really help each other from an assistant standpoint. So you won't see surgeon helping surgeon in most surgical practices. You see a PA helping. And I would agree with you that PAs are probably not the best fit in some family practices, but I think that in subspecialty practices, they really shine.
Excellent. We also know a lot of movie quotes, at least you and I do.
We sure do.
You know what? I was in a case today with a different surgeon that I'm helping out, and I dropped a movie quote from Vacation, and it did not go over.
What?
It was, yeah, that's all right. You win some, you lose some.
My junior partner, obviously, very junior.
Well, very good. Well, all right, let's get into it. How do you define a great PA?
To me, a great PA is one that I can ask for advice, I can trust during the operation. At no point during an operation with a great PA do I ever feel like I'm not getting something that I need. You go into the operation with a clear plan. A great PA will even come over to you before the operation and ask you, what's the plan? What are we doing here? What specifically, how are we going to attack this operation? A great PA knows when an operation is really hard. They can sense it. They can feel it. They act differently. They're more serious. They're more on point.
Yeah, I think that's a good point too, to be able to read the situation. And I'm sure you've noticed that with people before that, new grads or, even someone starting a new specialty can't always read the situation. So we might go from quoting movies and laughing to, focused and everyone's quiet and we're paying attention to what we're doing. We're working hard. Yeah,
I think the PA and the surgeon together lead that surgical feel for the room. And like you said, we can go from joking and smoking and joking, like we like to say, to ultra serious in the blink of an eye.
Yeah.
And that's another mark of a truly great PA.
Let's say I'm working for you. I'm kind of getting things done. I'm kind of checking the basic boxes. What if I wanted to go to the next level?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. And I think as a professional, I mean, one of the first things I tell PAs when they start in practice is, and I know you've heard this, you are a professional now. You are no longer you're no longer an hourly employee like you might have used to be. You are a professional person who has professional responsibilities to your patients. You owe that patient a good operation. And I think when you start thinking like that as a PA, that's when you can start to make the jump of, hey, now I think I can go from good to great here. If I had to point out 3 or 4 things, if you were going to say, hey, Rick, take me through 3 or 4 things that I could do, I think the first thing I would start with would be attention to detail. And that attention to detail is not just in the operating room. It's attention to detail on rounds. It's attention to detail in the clinic. It's overall just really focusing and utilizing your complete focus on whatever the task at hand is, not getting sidetracked.
I think sometimes we get stuck in a place because we're not nursing staff, but we're also not physicians. And so it is very common to kind of just lay back into, well, I'll get the basic stuff checked and then I'll let someone else look at the details. But you're right that it's a huge deal to go in and be like, I'm going to know every detail, every med, every, I'm not going to miss anything and take accountability for the patients.
And I think a lot of times, I've told people in the past, I said, look, I come up there and I spend 5 minutes with the patient. I expect you to have checked all the boxes and really paid attention. I'm here for a social call. You're really taking care of this patient. And then that goes further in the operating room, and it goes further than, attention to detail in the OR is every stitch, every time, every action, every retraction, and it rolls right into the next thing that I think is specific to surgery. You could probably try to link it to some other specialties, but to me, gentleness to tissues is another big thing. In heart surgery or any type of surgery, human tissue is a very fragile, gentle thing. And you have to realize when you grab it and when you grasp it and when you move it and when you retract it that, things can happen to it if you don't do it with the correct amount of force. And gentleness, almost every time when I start with a new PA, I say, be gentle, be gentle. Mm-hmm. And my PAs in the past always laugh at me in the future, like fast forward and they're like, you always told me just be gentle, be gentle. And I'm like, that is a really important lesson for going from good to great.
So tell me about the 4th of July hamburger, speaking of being gentle.
This is a famous story. I don't know. Okay, fine. So every time when a new person holds the heart, and we have, so many different people come in and hold the heart in our OR.
We've got tech students, we've got nursing students, we've got PA students, we've got all kinds of people that come through the OR.
Yep. And one time in my career when I was I was a fellow, and we had medical students who would come in and hold the heart. And I had a medical student one time, literally, he kind of put his finger right through an old lady's ventricle, right into her right ventricle.
That's no good.
Yeah, no, it was not good. And since that point in time, I've always tried to get people to use the palm of their hand more and the kind of the padding part of their fingers rather than digging their fingers into it. And I had to come up with a story to relate it. So I always say, do you remember that hamburger that your mom used to cook you on the 4th of July when you were at the big family picnic? How big and juicy it is with a big bun and all the grease and stuff sops through the bun. Now, if you put your fingers through the bun, the whole bun comes apart and it goes right through to the burger. But if you kind of palm the bun a little bit, that's how I want you to grab the heart.
I don't know that I've ever seen you eat a burger, but I'm going to watch to see if you palm it. But that story cracks me up every time we hear it. Where that's kind of goes along with your being gentle recommendation.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, cool.
If I had to go to number 3, I'd say mental imagery. And mental imagery is linked to practice and repetition.
Okay.
And I think that a PA, in order to go from good to great, needs to start thinking like a surgeon. They need to start thinking ahead in operations. They need to prepare for that specific operation and have a true mental image before they go in of what are the motions going to be in this surgery? What are the critical parts going to be? And really see it and feel it before the operation itself happens. And then that rolls into practice and repetition. Just like you're playing basketball, you're practicing basketball, you got to practice the layups.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot be teaching a person how to tie knots or how to tie a knot on the heart when it's really important during surgery. That has to be worked out way before.
Right. There's got to be a foundation there before.
Just the other day, I asked you to tie a knot in a critical spot on the heart when something was coming apart, and I had to hold it. And I said, "Here you go."
Yep. Game on.
And I didn't doubt you for a second.
Oh, that's nice of you. After the podcast, he'll probably reprimand me. But so, what kind of resources then can we look to? So, let's say I'm a new employee, right? And I'm new in your room. I'm not quite ready to assist yet. Where can I learn about these cases, or what do you recommend people do?
Yeah, I think that, in today's video world and internet world, going online and looking at operative videos of the operation that you're going to perform, if you've never been in that OR before, they may not do it that way, but at least you have a general understanding of how the conduct of the operation is going to lay out. Sure. And most of the time, the steps are kind of done in a sequential fashion, and I think that's a good start. I think you could also move to, textbooks of human anatomy and things like that are also good prep, but videos would really be the way I would go.
Yeah. And there seems to be a number of resources that kind of have the anatomy and physiology and stuff like that of whatever specialty people are in. So, yeah, cool. All right. Well, anything else you can bestow upon us? I think it's all good. I mean,
yeah, I think that, I really am privileged to have worked with a lot of great PAs who I hope are listening to this right now, because you were all really, really great.
Oh, that's nice of you.
And it's one of the highlights of my professional career to work with outstanding PAs. And I really thank the PAs every day. I try to, although I'm not sure they feel that way some days. But I think that they do a great job, and I hope that this podcast can at least help some of you who want to become better, become better.
Yeah, for sure. Rick touched on a topic that we'll talk about in another episode, but the issue of professionalism. A lot of people, you put your nose to the grindstone in school, but then once you're done, a lot of people kind of put it on cruise control because they think they've arrived. But it really, as from what Rick is telling us, you're still growing. I mean, that's actually kind of the beginning. So yeah, we'll hit on that later. But to recap, to go from good to great, we've got attention to detail. We've got gentleness to tissue, and really just gentleness in general, kind of finessing situations.
Yeah, that actually applies. I didn't even think of it, that applies to patient relations as well.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, really anything. It can be kind of just gentle in how we talk to people, gentle in how we talk to patients, being understanding to staff and stuff like that. Mental imagery, kind of understanding the situation, not just showing up for work and punching a clock. But then also, you said personal repetition.
Practice and repetition, yep.
Oh, practice, repetition, and mental imaging. So, cool.
Well, I'd love to come back sometime.
All right. Well, we'll have to have you back. I know where to find you. So, all right, guys.
Thanks, Chris.
Yep, you bet. Thanks a lot, Rick. All right, there you have it, guys. Hope you enjoyed that interview today. So to recap, we've got a couple different things that he hit on. And like I said, it's a surgical focus of today's discussion, but the lessons that he brought are universal, whether you're in school, applying to school, new grad, in surgery, in a clinic setting. But the four that he went through: attention to detail, gentleness, mental imagery, kind of imagining where you want to get, and practice and repetition. So hit up the show notes if you want to get a little bit more info on these topics at pastartup.co/episode 2. You can also check out Together+Clinic, Rick's startup, at togetherclinic.com. Also, if you are applying to school, we've got a free tip sheet for writing your application essay. That's available at www.pastartup.co/guides, GUIDES. And then there's also a workbook available on Amazon if you just search for writing your PA school application essay. There's a workbook on there for you. So check those things out. As always, gang, I would appreciate it if you would leave us a rating and review on iTunes. Subscribe to the podcast so that new episodes are delivered to you. And also, shoot me some questions. We're going to have a question and answer episode coming up soon. I've got a couple good questions so far, but keep them coming. Please email me at questions@pastartup.co. and I'd be happy to feature your question on the air here. If we feature your question or I read your rating and review from iTunes, I will send you a handy-dandy PA Startup Podcast sticker. You can slap that bad boy on your laptop or wherever you want, on your books, on your desk at school, wherever you're at. But yeah, you can show your PA Startup pride loud and proud. So can't wait to check in with you guys next episode. Look for that soon, and I can't wait to hear where you're at. So talk to you soon.
Dad?
Oh, hey, May.
There's a girl at the door selling Girl Scout cookies. Do you want anything?
Yeah. Hey, does she have Thin Mints?
Let me go check.
I'm going to go check too. I'll be right back.